One day, the Aesir gods were coming home from a hunting trip and decided that they wanted to throw a party. So they headed to the home of a Jotun named Aegir, and Thor not so politely informed him that his house was the Aesir's new official party venue. Aegir was a little ticked off about having his weekend plans shaken up, so he told the gods that he wouldn't be able to host a party for them unless they could bring him a cauldron big enough to brew beer for all of the Aesir. Unfortunately, none of the Aesir had a vessel that could hope to accommodate Thor's stomach capacity, and it was looking like the party would have to be called off. But then Tyr told Thor about his father, the Jotun Hamir, who owned a cauldron that was a mile deep, and so the two of them headed into Jotunheim to see if they could acquire the goods. When they got to Hamir's hall, they were greeted by Tyr's lovely mother, along with his 900-headed grandmother, and Mrs. Hamir knew that her husband wouldn't be too jazzed about having to host an Aesir god like Thor in his home, so she told the two of them to hide before her husband came home so she could try to smooth things over first. Welcome home, dear. How was work? Horrible. Okay, well, our son Tyr has come to visit. I have a son? Yep, and he brought a friend of his, and I was planning on having them stay for dinner this evening. I guess that's fine. I just hope it's anyone but that despicable Jotun killer, Thor. Hi, Mr. Hamir, I'm Thor. You probably know about me because I regularly commit genocide against your people. I noticed there were a lot of barbecue kettle chips in this pantry, but I think Tyr ate them all, so I apologize on his behalf. So what's for dinner? And despite his hatred for Thor, Hamir was bound by good old hospitality customs to be a good host. So he served his guests 3 whole cows for dinner, of which Thor consumed 2. And because of this, Hamir was now running low on livestock, so he told Thor that they would have to go on a fishing trip if they all wanted to stay fed for the remainder of their visit. Sure, I'm down for some fishing. What should I use as bait? I don't know, just go find something so we can leave as soon as possible. Your cows are pretty tasty. Do you think this will work? I hate you so much my left eye just went numb. And so Thor and Hamir sailed into the deep seas. Hamir rowed the boat into his normal fishing spot and caught 3 whole whales, enough to keep his family plus Thor fed for at least a couple more days. But Thor had bigger game in mind, and rowed farther out into deeper waters to cast his bait. Then from the depths of the sea came the great god's mortal nemesis. Jormungand, the fearsome world serpent, took the bait and burst to the surface to meet his foe. The two locked eyes and prepared for the battle destined to claim both their lives and usher in the end of days. Nope, fuck that. Jake has at least another handful of these Norse mythology cartoons to make before we're doing Ragnarok. You don't get to just jump the gun, asshole. And then the two sailed back to shore with their fishing haul. It was at this point Thor remembered the plot of this story and that he and Tyr were supposed to retrieve Hamir's giant cauldron. But Hamir said he would only let Thor have it if he could prove his manliness once and for all in an ultimate test of strength, breaking his indestructible cup. But try as he might, Thor couldn't seem to put a dent in the vessel no matter what tools he used. Well, it looks like we've hit a wall. Probably, but don't beat yourselves up. The only thing harder than your father's cup is his head. Oh, really? Ha! Got it! Thanks for the tip, Tyr's mom. That was my favorite cup. But true to his word, Hamir rewarded Thor and Tyr by giving them his giant cauldron, and the two began carrying it off back to Asgard. But after walking for a while, Thor looked behind him and saw Hamir coming their way with an army of lava giants, ready to exact revenge for all the inconveniences he suffered. That might be a problem. Yeah, Tyr, is it cool if I go murder your father? Do you care about having my permission? Not really. Yeah, whatever, go ahead. Tight. Well, it was nice to see my mom. Might be awkward after this. Then Thor and Tyr finally returned to Aegir's hall ready to get their booze on, and so all the Aesir gods have every winter since. Unfortunately, Aegir's sleep schedule never recovered.